Mental disorders like depression, anxiety, addictive behaviors are some of the mental health challenges that affect a person's mood, thinking, and behavior. Now, for patients diagnosed with diabetes and their relatives, it takes a lot of patience and sacrifices on their part to manage these cases. On this episode, we will be focusing on the psychiatric effects of diabetes on not on both the patients and their family members. Hi guys, my name once again is Dr. Dolly. We're here in Victoria Island, Lagos. And this is your Billion Dollar Body Show, proudly powered by Salad Masters, the makers of the best cookware in the world. And right here with me in the studio is...
Hi, viewers. My name is Folashade Babatunde. I'm the in-house dietitian with Excel Region. Welcome to the Billion Dollar Show. We're glad to have you with us today again. Thank you, Dr. Dolly.
Okay. So, like we said yesterday, we're still on diabetes. And you might wonder, what's the fuss about diabetes? Why is that? Well, I want to remind you that one person is diagnosed with diabetes in Nigeria every 2 minutes. About 700 people are diagnosed with diabetes every week. So it is a disease that is worth mentioning, and we are still on it. And also on Saturday, being the 14th of November 2020, the world as a whole is shedding its light on diabetes to tell people that this is a disease that you need to focus on. You need to know about it, be informed about it, be educated about it, so as to know if you already have it, how to manage it properly. And if you haven't contacted the disease yet, how to go on preventing it so that you don't come down with it. And today, there's an important aspect of diabetes mellitus management which escapes both the patients and even the caregivers most times. It is the psychiatric effects of these diseases. Now, I would like to show the viewers some of the slides in which we're using today to buttress the points of what psychiatric mental health disorders can do to patients with diabetes, and not just to them, but also, like I said before, their family members. Okay, but before we go into that deeply, we want to sharply summarize on what we did yesterday. Yes, we had to summarize. Now, I said that diabetes mellitus is just a metabolic disease that is chronic, that happens when there is deficiency in insulin production, or when the pancreas produces insulin, but the body is not sensitive to insulin. Now, that is it. And we also say that it has two types, type 1 and type 2.
Yes, I remember.
Type 1, yes, it's just the juvenile type, which is, it can be contacted early in life, and then the treatment is basically insulin. Now, our main focus here is type 2, because type 2 is the one that you're not born with it, but you contact it or you develop it due to some lifestyles that are not so healthy that you're living. And then we looked at the risk factors, and then we looked at the risk factors and other things. So for Lashade, this is our dietitian. She will also give us her own inputs on dietary management of diabetes, like we did yesterday.
Yes,
but before we proceed to do that, we have someone from our sponsors, from Salad Master sponsors, our regional coordinator of Excel Region of Salad Masters, Mr. Tony Bello himself.
Welcome, Mr. Tony.
Hello. Wow, guys, yesterday was amazing. What I found, thank you. What I should say is good. Is it good evening in Nigeria? It's good evening, because it's good evening in the UK. Good evening. Yeah. Are you on lockdown in Nigeria?
No, we're not.
Oh man, I'm on lockdown in the UK. I'm on lockdown, yeah. But guys, we're on lockdown, but we're listening very carefully from the UK, from the London studios. So we're listening very carefully listen to what you're doing, and we'll be passing some questions your way. There's a lot of people that will have some questions about diabetes, and we must remember again. Like you said, it's sponsored by Salad Master. Thank you very much, Salad Master, the makers of the best healthy cooking system in the world, 316 titanium stainless steel. Yeah. And also, we are in the Victoria Island office.
Right.
So thank you very much from there. But the other thing that we also remembered for this month is we are in Diabetes Awareness Month. Diabetes and Awareness Month.
That's
And
right.
tomorrow is Diabetes World Diabetes Day. So we're
Day.
getting all these things together. And what I want to say is, Dr. Dolly and Folashade, our dietitian, thank you very much for yesterday. It was very, very impactful. And the information, your replies to questions were on point. And we are looking forward in the UK for some exciting and more information, because, it's not just about having diabetes, it's also about preventing it. And it's also about
That's right.
finding it. Am I right? It's also about finding it fast so that you can hopefully reverse it fast before it gets any worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's one of the things, and remember, we're in this pandemic. Yeah. And it's a horrible pandemic. The world is almost at a standstill. And why? Because this pandemic is actually attacking people more that have lifestyle diseases. There was a study done, like we sent out before, a study done by the UK NHS. They found out that almost 1 in 3 people, unfortunately, that died from COVID-19 actually had diabetes. So you have a higher chance of death if you have diabetes, if you contract COVID-19. So this is why it's so important that we get this message and we get this show out to as many people as possible, so that if they have diabetes, they can see what they can do to make it better. But I like to say again, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the show. And guys, I can talk till tomorrow. So I'm not going to say any more, because I am looking forward to the slides you're going to share in a minute. So thank you very much, Dr. Dolly, and thank you very much, Folashade. And over to
Thank you
you
so
in the
much.
studio in Lagos, Victoria Island, Salad Master Office, Excel Region. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. It was nice having you here. We always love to have you. Okay. Now, let's talk about what you told us yesterday about the nutritional prevention of diabetes mellitus.
Yes, thank you. But before I go, I really want to, I remember the 3 P's you told us yesterday.
Oh,
and
yes.
so I love the way, the rhyme, the
Yes.
polyuria, the polydipsia,
and polyphagia.
It's something that rhymes,
Yes.
and we should remember that.
Exactly.
Maybe you may want to also tell, just remind us what those 3 means.
Okay, so I'll be glad to do that. The 3 P's of diabetes, because why do we emphasize on the 3 P's? They are the symptoms of diabetes. Why? Because most people who come down with diabetes have no symptom at all, or they have very few symptoms, or again, if they have it, they don't know, because these are normal things. Anybody can come and drink water too much. Maybe you were parched, so it's nothing to raise your eyebrows about. But this can also be a presenting symptom for diabetes. So the first P is polydipsia.
Polydipsia.
In no particular order, polydipsia is excessive thirst for drinking water. The second one is polyuria, excessive urination. As you're drinking water, you're peeing it out. And the third, but not the least, is polyphagia, which is excessive hunger for food. That is it.
All right, thank you. And so I just want to remind us, a few points that I mentioned yesterday. And I think the most important one, which all the points are important really, but what I want to pick out is that it's very, very important that you invest in your nutrition, in your diet.
That's right.
For the prevention of diabetes, for the management, and even possible reversal of diabetes. It is very, very important that you maximize the nutrition in your food so that you can get the best out of it, so that you can get to fight diabetes. We've mentioned earlier, this is the Diabetes Awareness Month.
That's
and
right.
So many people out there, the statistics are scary. Many people out there, it's very scary. Many people are out there and they don't even know that they have it. And I also mentioned yesterday that carbohydrate is the key macronutrient of focus in diabetes, and it's very, very important that you get to work with your doctor and your dietitian so that you can get the best plan. Yes, the best plans for that.
Yes, because like we said yesterday, you either let your illness define you or you define it. Don't let people know you as, oh, this is the woman that has diabetes. Let them know you as you before they even discover you have any health challenge. Fine. So now, without further ado, we would like to put up some slides for you as we go ahead today to deal with the psychiatric effects of diabetes on patients and their relatives. Okay, so that is it. First of all, there's something that happens when a patient is diagnosed with diabetes. The patient goes through 5 stages of emotions. First of all is that you are telling a patient that you are coming down with a chronic disease, which means this disease is going to be there for a long time and possibly it doesn't have cure. The first emotion that occurs is one, denial. They deny it. No, I don't have it. It can't be me. It's not me. Second one is anger. Why should it be me? What have I done to deserve this? Why is this coming to me? Third emotion is guilt. The person is guilty. Now, was this something I did? Was it something I've done? Or is this a curse? These are all the emotions that the patient goes through. The next one, the fourth one is reactive depression. Now, the patient is now reacting to the bad news by being depressed. Finally, the fifth one is acceptance. The patient has now come to accept that, okay, fine. They said I have diabetes. Fine. This is it. Finally, they come to acceptance. Now, it is very important that any caregiver, doctor, or any health worker who encounters these people at the early stages of diagnosis should be able to recognize these 5 emotions when they see it, because it can be quite disturbing and is an emotional upheaval for them. And when they are going through all these series of emotions, the people who love them, their family members, are also going through some of these emotions or similar emotions with them. So we should be able to know that this is what is going on with them and that it is also manageable. It can also be treated medically. Yes. Now, another aspect is there is indication also that psychological stress can cause diabetes. It is also said that psychological stress can also worsen an already existing diabetes. So it is also said that psychological stress can make someone who's already diagnosed with diabetes have a very willful disobedience to doctor's instructions. Yes, especially the teenagers, those who have type 1, that is at the stage where there is still anger. They don't want to adhere to, if you tell them to take medication, they will not take it. They will flout others. They are not compliant with medications. They don't want to do anything to help. Yes.
Is that the same as those who say it's something that will kill us?
No, that one is already, they've accepted it, and then if it comes, it comes. But these people, they are inciting in fact, they feel like fighting the whole world. Yes, that is the way it is for them. Now, emotional influences on the course of diabetes. Now, it is said that emotional stressful experiences can produce fluctuations in the level of glucose. Yes, you can have a very stable blood glucose level and you undergo something like maybe a heartbreak, or maybe in the case of children, your parents are undergoing divorce. It actually makes your blood sugar to skyrocket. Yes. So one of the causes of their crisis is emotional upheaval. Have they passed through something, or some of them, have they failed exams? Did they lose their job? All of that, when it happens to them, it can upset their blood sugar and make them lose control of a previously stable blood sugar level. Yes, that is what happens in that kind of cases. So diabetes, like we know, is a disorder of adaptation. Once the person knows that I have been diagnosed and the person has finally reached the level of acceptance, you now have to adapt to your new reality. You now have to adapt to
you.
to the new you, adapt to new lifestyle, adapt to new diet and all. So at this stage, for Lachade, let's hear from our dietitian.
I think I have more questions for you, really. So.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm just wondering with this. So this has to do with mental health, right?
Yes.
And so, are there provisions for patients who get diagnosed with diabetes, so that they can go through these cases? Because I've worked with people who they don't even want to believe that there's something like diabetes. And in Africa, it even makes it worse. People think it maybe someone somewhere that is doing something to you, and they don't even want to believe this. So are there provisions for that? Yes.
Yes. Of course, when you get to the hospital, although normally most caregivers and most medical professionals just concentrate on getting your blood sugar down, preventing you from having complications, and then neglecting a very important part of your mental health, because diabetes also affects your mental health. It does. Now, like we know, stress, any patient who has latent diabetes, which means maybe diabetes that has not started manifesting physically. It is in you, but it's not showing symptoms. Yeah. If you undergo any kind of stress, it converts that latent diabetes to an active one. So it can happen like that. So there's provision for that. And now, doctors are now aware that there is this aspect of diabetes that we have been neglecting for a long time. We neglected it before because our society, especially the African society, hates to accept that there is depression. Yeah. It's something they don't. What do you mean?
It's true.
Yes, we don't accept depression.
Mental health in general.
Yes.
We're just getting used to it.
The only mental disorder we know in Africa is when you're raving mad. But there are stages to this. Before you even get to the psychotic stage, you must have undergone maybe depression, anxiety, and all of that. And then some of them can also incline towards getting addicted to some substances. Wow. To now enable them accept or deal with this new reality, and which in turn will also tip their diabetes even in a worsen the diabetes. Okay. So that is the thing. So like your question, you said yes, there's provision for that.
Okay.
Any doctor, in fact, if you're a caregiver or a relative, when the patient has now seen the doctor and explained, I'm losing weight, I'm urinating too much and all. If the patient forgets, you can chip in. Oh, doctor, do you know sometimes she or he gets really moody? What do we do about that? So now it is the doctor's prerogative now to send you to, maybe after you've seen the doctor, you can go to
a counselor.
Not just a counselor, but even a psychiatric doctor, yes. Depending on the degree of the mental disorder you have. You can go to a counselor. So diabetic management is multifactorial. It's not just the medical doctor. You need your dietitian, like we said yesterday. You need your psychiatrist. You need your counselor to put you through, because if you're healthy physically and mentally you're sick, you're still sick.
Yes, I think they also need, in cases where some of them lose their body parts, I think it's also very important that they also see maybe an occupational therapist, right?
Exactly.
So
those are the things again that make them tip into depression or anxiety, or the case may be, because you were born whole, you are beautiful, nothing was wrong with you. All of a sudden the doctor tells you you have blood sugar. Because of that, in the course of it, you will now lose a limb. It's not easy to manage, especially if you're a lady and you are unmarried and you lose a limb. It's bound to affect you psychologically.
Yes.
It's bound to affect you. And the way you are with the opposite sex may change. So those are the things that we see in psychiatric dimension to diabetes. It's a whole lot, and there are a whole lot of things that cause it. Another aspect of it is insulin-dependent diabetes. This mainly focuses on type 1 diabetics, the adolescent diabetic patients who they have been diagnosed with diabetes early in life, and now they become manipulators because they know all the focus is on them. Everybody's focusing on them. Everybody wants them to be better. They tend to manipulate the home front. Yes, because they now have diabetes and everything they want is done for them.
All
They
attention.
tend all attention on them. They tend to manipulate their parents, siblings, and all of that. Now, that is what happens in most cases. So parents with such children, you look out for that. In as much as you're helping them to heal physically by accepting to do whatever it is they want, you don't also make them mentally unhealthy.
Yes.
By indulging to all their whims and caprices. You don't go ahead and do that. Now, in this juvenile diabetes, you have what we call the neurotic developments. Neurotic developments can actually disturb family members. Neurotic is the person is going very close to being full-blown psychiatric patients.
Wow.
So we should know that. So when they start manifesting with such, we should be aware and know that no, it is not somebody that sent something to him. This is a manifestation of the chronic illness that is ongoing. They can also manifest by having some eating disorders. We have some eating disorders that you call bulimia.
Yes.
You have anorexia nervosa. You see them, bulimia is the case where the kid, they will see everything on the dining table, they'll eat. After eating, they will go to the bathroom, induce themselves and start vomiting out all the things they've eaten. All these erratic behaviors is associated with diabetes, especially type 1, and parents should be on the outlook for that. If they happen to be eating so much food, you put a check. You don't eat so much. What is going on? If there's something you need to unburden, you say it instead of going towards food and going towards this kind of psychiatric effects. Yes. Another one is also they have difficulty adhering to treatment regimen. When a doctor says take this by 8 a.m., he doesn't want to hear
For
that.
children?
Yes.
Wow.
For the juvenile diabetics, they don't adhere to it. It can also be, if it's prolonged, it can also be that is a form of psychiatric manifestation from the patient.
Dr. Dolly, you're sharing so much. You're sharing so much information. But quickly before you go, and I just wanted to take, the first point that you mentioned is that they go psychotic, right? So what are those signs that people would see, maybe their parents would see in such kids that will make them know this is what is happening and they need to pay urgent attention to that? What are those things they could see?
Yeah. Sometimes they can have some addictive behaviors. They can exhibit some addictive behaviors. Like a child who was good, not doing anything, you find the child tending towards alcohol.
Do they talk to themselves?
If they find someone else who they feel maybe they have a friend who also is diabetic, they might open up to that person. But if they have people or friends who they feel are healthy, they might feel you don't understand me. You are not wearing my shoe. You don't know where it hurts. So that is it. They can go to cigarette smoking.
Wow.
Yes, they can do that. They can go to taking hard drugs. It's possible, all in the name of trying to cope or manifesting whatever it is that is going on inside. Like I said, they can also have they can also be antisocial now.
They don't want to play with anybody.
They don't want to play with anybody. They don't want to talk to anybody. They are angry at the world in general. That is it for now. So our dietitian, please, can you tell us the diabetic diet? Because it's very important, because here in our program, Your $1 Billion Body, the emphasis is on prevention. You see, the whole gamut of things that comes with coming down with diabetes is not just about the blood sugar. It's a systemic disease that affects from your brain to your body. So please run us through the diets that we can eat, we can embrace, because this era we are in is full of you can do there are so many fast foods which most of the time are not healthy.
Yeah.
So please walk us through.
The world is fast paced now, so
yes,
you
everything
find out
is
that
fast.
everything everybody's looking for convenience, and so at the end of the
That
day,
is it.
the other side of this disadvantage of wanting to do convenience may not always be the
Healthy.
healthy option
That's right.
for us. So what I'll be doing is just that I would go ahead to show you how you can get to maximize your nutrition to fight diabetes as much as possible. We're trying to prevent for people who don't have high blood sugar diabetes already. We're trying to help you learn how to prevent and reduce your risk of having diabetes. But if you have it already also, or we mentioned yesterday, diabetes isn't a death sentence. You can still get to manage it so well and get to the point of reversal. So it's very important. And one of the key things that you need to reverse your diabetes is your diet. You cannot do, even if you use your medications, your diet is still very, very, very important that you have to pay attention to it. And I like the fact that Dr. Dolly went into mental health issues today, because mental health is something that is very key. And it's even very funny that we have a part of nutrition that is nutrition psychiatrics also.
Really?
Yes, so there's a part of it. And so your diet, there are diets that can help you improve your mental health, while there are some that can also, bring it down and make it really, really, really worse. And so when we talk about diabetes diet, it's not like it's a special diet. It's just basically a healthy eating plan that helps you to regulate your blood sugar level and also prevent, I mentioned yesterday, prevent some of the complications, high blood pressure, having high blood fat, like cholesterol and triglycerides, and so many of these other conditions that can happen if your diabetes remain uncontrolled. And so once you understand that diabetes diet is not one special, I find people saying that, I want a diabetes diet. And I say, okay, so there is no general one. I mentioned yesterday, if you have obesity and if you're obese and you're obese and you need to, obese.
Do you mind showing them the slides?
Yes.
You have a slide to show them so that they can actually follow what you're saying.
Yes.
Better.
Thank you. I think I just got carried where you wanted to share the
Oh my God, because
so
I have happened to see the slide and I know it's really wonderful. So I will appreciate it if
so by now you should get to see the slides on your screen, and then you can then follow along as I mentioned.
Yes.
And so I was talking about maximizing your diet to ensure that you get the best out of it to fight diabetes. And I also, mentioned that healthy diabetes diet is nothing so special. It's, although there is no generalized diet, you have different situations. As a person, if you're Mr. A, for example, your condition may not be the same as Mr. B, because Mr. A may be obese and have diabetes, while Mr. B has high blood pressure already and then has diabetes to it. So it is important that you understand that as much as diabetes diet is to help you prevent, complications of diabetes and regulate your blood pressure, there is no general diet. You need to get one that is personalized to your condition to help you get the best result that you want. And that takes me to the next thing you will see on your slide now, that it's very important that you consult your dietitian. We mentioned yesterday, we have said it today again, as much as a doctor is very important, you need to also see a dietitian. And even some of the symptoms Dr. Dolly just mentioned about mental health in diabetic patient now, you all may also need to see some other professionals that will become better overall. And so it's very important to see a dietitian. A dietitian will help you work out a personalized diet that fits your situation. So if you have other conditions aside diabetes, all those things will be put into consideration to ensure that your diet is the best for you. And so once you get that, it makes it easy for you to regulate your blood sugar level and also maintain your weight.
Can I come in here?
Okay.
Now, this diet, there's something that this perception in the society. Oh, I'll go and get a doctor. I'll get a dietitian. How much is it going to cost? Please, this diabetic diet in quotes, how expensive is it?
So I just mentioned that diabetes diet is just a healthy eating plan. And so, it's one of the things that there are things you put into consideration once you want to get to manage your diabetes. And I think that's going to show next. I'm glad that you're even asking, because I think that's what I have next on my slide now.
If I were at the other side of the table, I would like to know how much this special diet is going to cost me. Because if I'm not earning much and you're selling to me something that I can afford, I can afford it.
Yes.
So now, give me examples of what people can buy with their small amount of money and still be healthy.
Yes, so please realize when you hear diabetic diet, it's not something that is so costly or out of place. I mentioned it has to be personalized to your own very need. And so there are certain things you get to consider once you're planning one, and that is why it's important that you get to work with the dietitian really. And so
Okay.
the session we consider what are your health goals, lower your blood pressure level and all that. And just one of the key things a dietitian would also need to consider. So if I see you can't afford certain food, it is my job as a dietitian to get other things. So for example, we have the broccoli. Broccoli is on the big side for some people, it's quite costly for some, while for some people it's very, very cheap. And so if my client can afford to buy broccoli, of course I would have to my client.
Okay, now I represent those people that cannot afford to buy broccoli.
So for you,
what is the substitute for broccoli?
So
that can
pumpkin leaf is very cheap,
Okay,
so you can get it,
that's a good one.
The water leaf is cheap.
Beautiful.
Bitter leaf is there.
Okay, bitter leaf
is
too.
also there. Yes.
Okay.
So you have the jute leaf, which is also a form of vegetable. So
Beautiful.
you have so many of this option. You have the spinach, which is also vegetable.
But spinach, even I don't know if spinach should be cheap. And even though it's cheap, can we easily access it from our local markets?
Yes, so instead of depending on where you stay, really, there are some places where you find it easily accessible. And so that is why you have variety. If you don't have spinach, you would have pumpkin leaf, right? If you don't have pumpkin leaf, you have water leaf.
Okay, so even if I get one, it's okay.
Yes, but we want variety as much as possible. But all the leafy greens will do you good. And so in almost every local market that we have, you find some of these leafy greens there. Another thing that the dietitian would consider is your activity level, your body size. Do you need to lose weight? How active are you? All those things are things that will be considered in making your diabetic plan. And that's why I said it's not just a generalized diet plan, because we have people saying that, I want a diabetic plan. And I tell them that you need to consult a dietitian, or maybe ask your doctor to refer you to one, so that you can get to. Another thing is that once you're on medication, you need to also pay attention to your 3 meals. Most times the diabetic diet plan comes in form of the frequency of the meals, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and sometimes the snacks in between. And it's also very important that once you're on medication, you take at the regular interval. So if you take, for example, today, if you're taking maybe the first drug for the day is by 8 a.m., it's always best that the next day it should also be by the same time. So it helps your body make use of the medication, and also the medication and your food would get to work very well. And
okay. Before I allow you get to the other slide, because I know you have so much to give, you can't wait to pour it on the viewers.
Yes.
Now, another thing, I heard you mention snacks. Now, for the normal Nigerian, we love snacks. We love the meat pies, the donuts, the small chops that we eat at the beginning of every occasion. If you haven't had small chops, you haven't arrived. Now, what are the healthier options that you suggest that we can have in place of those street style finger foods that we have?
The unhealthy options,
yes.
Right? So when we talk about snacks, so it is not only the meat pie and all that, but it's just that many on our part, many people think those are just the snacks. So your fruits can also be snacks. Even vegetables like carrots, like cucumbers can also be your snacks. So you can get to do that. You can do mixtures. Your salad is a snack, can be a snack.
Wow.
So imagine you having coleslaw and putting that little lime juice on it, and then having snacking on it. So you have these other options, and like I mentioned yesterday, you need to include a lot of fruits and vegetables. And so this is where it comes in. You can, as your snack, you can get to increase your fruit intake by taking salad, in between your meals. You can get to do apples, you can get to do watermelon, you can get to do cucumber, and all that. All those things are all snacks that we can get to do. And so another thing that so now your diet, there's certain things you need to add. I mentioned yesterday, your fruits and vegetables, you need to increase all this. You need to also pay attention to whole grains. When we talk about whole grains, we're talking about grains that have not undergone so much processing and the shaft are still intact. I mentioned that the shaft is where
example?
Yes, where you we'll get there. Yes, yeah. So where you have all the bran still intact. So imagine your brown rice. The brown part of it is still where you have where you have most of the vitamins and.
So you mean the rice that has its shaft?
No. So the brown rice, the common one that we have around there, you have the fada rice.
Yes.
Right? So it still has, compared to the white rice.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So now the whiter the rice, the more processed it is.
Yeah. So that white rice was like fada, had the brown before, so it was during processing that
it became white.
Yes. So another thing is we can look at the maize. When you make your pap, for example, some people sieve after blending the
corn,
grains,
yeah.
then the sieve, and then throw that out.
The chaff.
Yes, and so what you're throwing out, what you're throwing away, is
Yes.
where you have the most nutrition for
Oh
you.
my
So
God.
once you have your pap that still has the chaff in, then that is whole grain meal for you.
In other words, you want our clients who, when they go buy pap, they will ask, does it have the chaff in it?
Yeah, well, if they, you can also, people also ask people to make, if they can't make themselves,
Okay.
then this is what they want them to make.
Okay,
for
so
them.
you can pre-order what you want.
Yes, and also we have some breakfast cereals that are whole grain also for people who like cereals, the breakfast cereals. So you have some other options that are all brand, so then they are very low in sugar. So it depends on all these are out there. It's just for you to get the best nutrition knowledge about the meals that you need to eat, and some of the things you need to limit. You need to limit the cholesterol rich foods. We have the egg.
Yes.
The egg yolk, the liver, and all this organ meats. A lot of people like to do organ meats. Some people even have the notion that organ meats are healthier. And so you find out that you have a lot of cholesterol in them. I mentioned yesterday that although research has shown that it is not, the cholesterol, dietary cholesterol we take in, it doesn't have as much effect as the saturated and trans fat that is fat from your fried food, from all those pastries that you eat. All those things affects your blood cholesterol more than even the dietary cholesterol the cholesterol that comes in from your diet. So you need to also limit that. And so if you do things like bacon, sausage, or dogs, those things are unhealthy, and so you need to try as much as possible to get them off your diet. Yes.
Wow, that's so enlightening. I am a doctor, but I am learning a whole lot from what she's telling us today. So that brings me back to where we were. We just finished the psychiatric effects of diabetes on the juvenile patients. That's the small patients, how the younger patients, the patients who are insulin dependent. Now we look at the adult lives, adults who are diagnosed with diabetes. How do they react, or how do they present for you to know that this thing, there's a mental health disorder playing out here?
Okay, the signs.
Now, the signs. When you look at them, adults who, they go through the 5 stages that we mentioned. That is the anger, the guilt, the denial, and all of that. And then finally acceptance. And then you look at them, you know that this diabetes is affecting them mentally when their employment or marriage becomes affected. Yes.
Well,
they become negligent to the extent that it is visibly noticed in their work and in their marriage. Another one is that they start having physical manifestations of that mental health by bringing forth pruritus. When we say pruritus, you see them, they're always scratching. You don't know what is scratching them, but they're always scratching at their selves. And then for the married ones, you see that the interest in sex is declined.
Low sex drive.
The low sex drive. They don't have the interest at all. Another one, for the men, they become impotent.
Wow.
Yes. Impotent, it can be, there are so many ways because of the depression that comes, or the mental health challenge that comes with diabetes. That's one of the reasons the men develop impotence. And secondly, the side effects of some of the diabetic medications. Yes, they also cause that. Another one is also in children, in the diabetic children who are diagnosed with diabetes early in life. Because of this diabetes, they fail to develop their secondary sexual characteristics early. So now it comes to affect them. You can imagine a girl child that is, let's say, 16. All your age mates are already menstruating and they are already having breast mass, and you have nothing. You'll be looking like a man, and invariably it affects you. And they react to this by being withdrawn. They run away from the opposite sex. Yes. And then previously enjoyable activities, they don't want to indulge in it again. Another one also is what we call anorgasm. Anorgasm. In women, they never get to orgasm again. No matter how well stimulated they are, the interest is not there.
Does it affect their sex drive? Wow.
The interest is not there again. So that is it. So in men also, you have them coming up with disturbances in ejaculation. Those are the mental the physical manifestations of the mental stress they undergo as diabetic patients. Now, another one is because diabetic patients usually come down with hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is when you have low glucose level in the blood. It now triggers fear of hypoglycemic attack in them. They have it at the back of their mind. Oh, when am I going to come down with this thing? Am I going to faint today? What is going to happen? Then it may now cause depression, what we call lassitude, undue difficulty in waking. In the morning, they don't want to wake up. Undue difficulty in waking up. They have morning headaches. They've not done anything and they're having morning headaches. Then they become apathic. They're just like this. They don't have any zeal. Even if you tell them, hey, you won 1 million. Oh, okay. Anything. Oh, okay.
I think you mentioned it yesterday. Could that be due to the muscle weakness that you mentioned yesterday?
It's partly due to weakness caused by the fluctuations in sugar level.
Okay.
But now this stress is coming from
added.
Yes, stress is added, and then it's weighing down the mental health. So they manifest like that.
But Dr. Donny, with all these things you're saying, it seems prevention is just the best and the cheapest.
That is why we have this program.
Aside the financial cost, all this emotional cost
is tremendous. We call it emotional upheaval. You never become the same again. So the best thing is prevention. Prevention.
When you find yourself in a place where you don't have good access to healthcare, it even worsens everything.
Yes, it just complicates matters. And then it's a chronic thing. You have hope when they say, okay, yeah, you have this disease, but we're going to cure it. But here in diabetes, we just help you to manage. We can't do much at this point in time. So now, also, it has been noticed that patients who are over-treated with insulin, also, one of the side effects is psychiatric disorders. If you are being treated, and they can come out with what we call manic depression. You see them at this time, they're just slow. At the other point, they want to jump building, they want to jump fence, they are very happy there. So it's the mood swings.
Over-treatment, does that mean, is it something like overdose?
Yes, they must have overdosed.
Okay.
Yes, they must have overdosed. So that is what happens. Another one also is that they have also depressive disorders. These ones, there's no manic episode, they're just very depressed. Now it has been noticed that patients with diabetes, they have twice they are more likely to have depression compared to the general public.
Yes, I came across that study too.
Yes. They are more likely to come down with depression, twice as likely to come down with depression more than. So now, they have so many, can come from so many things, but the one that it's the culprit is cerebral atherosclerosis. It's usually happens because these problems. And now, also, some psychiatric patients who don't even have diabetes, they just have mental health disorder, and they are checked into mental health homes to be treated. Some of the antipsychotic drugs that we give them cause increased appetites for those psychiatric patients under treatment. And once the appetites are increased, you see them become obese. And obesity, like we talked, obesity, it is a risk factor for diabetes. So you can see that it's a vicious cycle. Diabetes and psychiatric disorders are actually very close.
But can they choose not to use those medications?
We haven't found, of course, medicine is always also looking out for ways.
Hello, I think we're having a slight disconnection, a slight network problem in the studio. What we're going to do is we're just going to go on a slight break while we fix the problem. So please bear with us. We just have a slight network issue. So we're just going on this. We're just going to go on a slight break, which means that we're just going to show you a short video so you can see this the Salad Master machine in action while we're on this break and a few things. Thanks.
My name is Brian Haratuku. I'm from Choose the Right Cookware in Arizona. I'm here to share with you my why I'm a healthy cooking coach, and why Salad Master. I want to share with you an experience that I had. I wrote on a dinner presentation, and during the time that the family was eating, I noticed that the parents began to cry. And it wasn't until after the whole show that they expressed why they were getting so emotional. For quite some time, their daughter of 9 years old, she wasn't eating and she was losing a lot of weight, and they were really concerned. And they didn't know what to do. Their daughter in the dinner presentation actually ate her whole plate and asked for seconds. The product has been changing a lot of people's lives. And this is one of the biggest reasons for why I am still a healthy cooking coach. The benefits I see in my own family as well. The product is clean, it's pure, and it's made of the highest quality. And the business itself, it doesn't feel like it's work. It's more of a family gathering. And we're always open to share our passion with others, that they might be a part of this and help more lives to be changed.
Hello, the studio. Are we there in Lagos, in Victoria Island? Just making sure. I think we were having some technical issues. I'm hoping that they have been resolved, but we shall see in a minute. I think let me just see. Lagos studio, are we there? Lagos studio, are we there?
Yes,
Hello.
we're here.
Welcome back, Lagos, with the challenges we have. Yeah, but we're still keeping on. The diabetes awareness,
Yeah.
the show has been very good. I've enjoyed it. The viewers put thumbs up to the show. We need to make people aware of the psychological effects, also how they can help them reverse their diabetes, either by medication or by diet. And I think both Dr. Dolly and the follow-shadowed nutritionist, you've hit some points on the head. So I want to know, are we there in the Lagos studio? Are we there?
Hello.
Can
Hello,
you hear
Mr.
us clearly?
Tony. We
You
can
can hear?
hear you, but you're breaking.
Okay, I'm breaking.
You're-
Okay,
yes, but
over
you're
to you.
breaking.
Okay, over to you then. Let's hope I'm breaking and not you're not
All right.
Okay.
breaking. All right,
All
over
right.
to you.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. Always glad to have you on the show. Okay.
Thank you.
So now we'll continue with our dietitian who has been giving us and continues to give us the dietary the
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the interruption again. Just let me just quickly, just while they're sorting the studio out, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Tony. I'm from the Excel region, Salad Master Excel region, and just to explain that the points that we have at the moment, why we're doing this is because this month is Diabetes Awareness Month, and we'd like you to share the link with as many people as possible so that they can also be aware of how they can either prevent diabetes or how they can manage their diabetes or how they can reverse their diabetes or what kind of foods they need to eat. The whole point is we've got Dr. Dolly in the studio right now, and we've got Follow Shadi in the studio right now. We have as far as we're concerned, our best medical doctor giving our best medical advice for diabetes, and we have our best dietitian giving our best dietary advice on nutrition. We do have a slight issue with the studio in terms of nutrition, the network. But what I'll say is the whole point is usually people go and look for the doctor to give them advice, and sometimes they go and look for the dietitian. But here in the studio, you have both. So if you have any questions that you want to ask or you want me to ask them, please put them on the chat or put them in the comments and see if we can help you out. Dr. Dolly and Fola Shade, can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay.
Hello,
So
Mr.
are you
Tony. Yes, we can hear
good?
you.
Okay. So are you? I'll hand over to you in
Yes.
the Lagos studio. Over to you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you from London. Thank you so much. Okay.
All
Our
right. Thank you,
dietitian.
Mr. Tony. So I think before we went on break, I was talking about different meals, the foods you need to avoid, the ones you need to include more in your food. Another point I want to, emphasize on is that it's very, very important that you adopt a healthy cooking system. And I want you to thank our Salad Master for making the best cookware you can ever imagine. Imagine if you cooking with a set of cookware that get to preserve like almost 93% of the nutrients in the food that you have. And so for diabetic patient, you realize that the nutrients that are in their food, in your vegetables, in your fruits, in the yam you eat, the rice you eat, the sweet potatoes you eat, we need to preserve them to offer, the best nutrition to you. And so for many people, you cook this food, but then you destroy the nutrients that you have in them. And so with Salad Master healthy cooking system, you can get to cook your vegetables without cooking them in water. Vegetables and fruits are very rich in vitamin C, for example, and some of these nutrients are water soluble. So what it means is that once you put them in water, cook them in water, the nutrient leach into the water. And at the end of the day, you throw the water away usually, and so you lose most of that. But then with the Salad Master cooking system, you get to preserve this nutrient. You can even get to also reduce the starch that you have in some of the food. I mentioned earlier the carbohydrates is the nutrient of focus here, and so you can get to reduce the amount that you have by starching, and so it makes it easier for you. And so I also went ahead to mention we're talking about the mental health effect of diabetes, and so I'm gonna ahead to show you some of the foods that you can get to add to your diet. And the good thing about this, Dr. That most of these foods are low in carbohydrates. Some of them don't even have they have just minimal amount of carbohydrates. So there are things you can add to your diet. You have the fruits and vegetables, you have the flaxseed, the avocado, you have beans, you have mackerel, you have almond nut. All these things are available around us.
Oh.
You have oats.
What about yogurts?
Yes, yogurt is also very good. So one of the things that
really?
we have this feel good hormone that makes you feel better once you're moody, you're depressed, and all that.
Yes,
And
the feel good hormone is called serotonin.
Serotonin, and so it's 90% of this hormones is manufactured in your gut, and so the yogurt is a probiotic that helps to ensure that the bacteria in your gut, the healthy bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut, get to do their work and keep your gut healthy, so that you can make this serotonin. And so these are some of the foods that you can include in your diet. I've also gone ahead.
Please, please. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, so that they can see it and know that there are some food that you can actually eat that will boost your mental health.
Yes.
Which is very important, because that's our focus today. Mental health of diabetic patients. Now, you've shown us the food that promotes or boosts mental health. What are the food that will do the opposites?
Yes. So foods that are very high in sugar, for example,
that are very high in sugar.
So you have your fruit, the packed fruit juice that we talked about yesterday, the soft drinks that you take.
Okay, the fizzy drinks.
The fizzy drinks that you take. You have your pastries that contain a lot of sugar.
Those are the ones that are detrimental.
Yes, they are detrimental to your mental health. And so all these ones, and I'm even gonna add to show the viewers a sample menu where you have oatmeal. I mentioned that it's one of the things that can help to boost. And then you imagine taking oatmeal with almond toppings. Like
people, our viewers must be enjoying a whole lot, because I know for you to get a menu from a dietitian, it doesn't come cheap.
Yes, and then you take it with apple as your breakfast. Then you go ahead for your lunch. You're having plantain for I remember you mentioned that you love swallow, so you haven't taken your plantain.
I'm already feeling hungry.
For variety purpose, you can do some other types of swallow, but then you're having a plantain swallow, and then vegetable soup with mackerel fish. Well designed and placed on your plate.
Oh my God. I feel like eating already.
And then you go for dinner, you're doing pasta and coleslaw, and then you're having chicken sauce with it. So
okay.
And then you have,
for those of us who didn't really go to school, please, what is pasta?
Okay, so pasta, examples of pastas are your spaghetti, you have the macaroni. So
noodles, are they part of it?
Yes, so noodles are, but the usual noodles that we take are what's the word now? The packaged ones that we do are not soy, because they're highly processed, and so it is. And then they have the sauce is very high in sodium, and so they are not so healthy to eat. But then if you talk about, we have whole grain pasta, the usual spaghetti, the long ones, the thinny ones, the curved different shape one, the macaroni. So you have the different types that, so it's best to go for those options rather than the noodles, the highly packed ones that cook on
fine. When you say that the sauce of the noodles are highly packed with sodium, please, what is sodium?
Okay, so in diabetes, one of the things we're trying to ensure that we prevent is high blood pressure.
That's right.
And so sodium is the major element in salt. So let's go a bit into
sodium
science.
Is salt.
Yeah, so sodium is one of the elements.
That's what I wanted you to bring out for them. That too much sodium. The sauces in your packed noodles contain so much salt.
Yes.
And when you have so much salt in you, it predisposes you to hypertension.
Thank you, Dr. Dolly. I think so. Thank you so much. So, and I went high to inform us to say that tomorrow is World Diabetes Day, and
That's
so tomorrow, we informed you yesterday, we'll be having 10 different menus being shown to you how to prepare that. So this is just one of the ones that you're seeing. You can get to see. And Dr. Dolly, remember you mentioned going high blood, when the blood sugar goes very low. And so I just, wanted to show our viewers what they can get to do. And so when we talk about low blood sugar, which is hypoglycemia,
Yes.
it's when your blood sugar goes beyond the level of what it should be. And so you can get to bring it up. So it's very dangerous, right, Dr.
Yes.
Dolly? It's very dangerous.
It kills more than hyperglycemia.
Yes, it kills more. And so one of the things you can get to do once you notice the signs of your hypoglycemia, it's very important that so there's this rule called the 15-15 rule that I want to share. And so it's for you to give, once you notice either you are the one who has diabetes and you're already noticing the signs of low blood sugar, or you have someone around you who is saying that, then you give 15 grams of carbohydrate and then you check the blood sugar level in the next 15 minutes. And so 15 grams is just more like a serving of carbohydrates. And so what that means is that 1 teaspoon of sugar or 1 teaspoon of honey, or you give half cup of juice, fruit juice, or the usual fizzy drink. So here, this is because this is an emergency.
Yes.
And so you can get to do the free, just half
You
cup.
can get in the sugar.
Yeah, just to get
anyhow
sugar.
you can get it.
Yes, just to get sugar into you so that you can boost your blood sugar level up, and then it takes you off the dangerous edge of diabetes. And so, Dr. Dolly, back to you. I think yes.
Thank you so much. I noted the 15-15 rule. You give 15 grams of carbohydrate and check the blood sugar in the next 15 minutes.
And if it's still low, you give another 15.
15. So it's a 15-15 thing.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. It's a very good message, and it's very valuable. Now we are gradually coming to the end of the program, but before we wrap it up, I'd like to take us again to the management of diabetes type 2, because this cannot be overemphasized. We have seen the physical debilitation it causes to the body, and as well as the mental health. So if you already are diagnosed with diabetes mellitus, we'll love you to walk through this with us so that you know how to manage it well. And if you haven't gotten it, please also adhere to some of our lifestyle suggestions so that you don't come down with it. Firstly, I divided the management into 3 parts. The first part is what I call the individualized glycemic control. Individualized means what you can do for yourself to control or manage your diabetes type 2. Number 1 is your diet. Like our dietitian said, I know you picked 1 or 2 from there. It's going to help you a long way if you can incorporate that lifestyle, healthy eating lifestyle, into your diet. Another one is also lifestyle adjustment or adaptation. Adapt your lifestyle. Be physically active. Stop cigarette smoking. Stop alcohol binging and all of that. Sleep well. All of that helps you in management of diabetes type 2. The second one is exercise. Exercise. The value of that cannot be second guessed.
Yes.
Another one is also your medication. If you are managing your diabetes type 2 with lifestyle and medication, please adhere to your medication. And like our dietitian pointed out, you take it usually at the same time every day. It helps the body coordinate the workings of the medications better. The second heading now is treat associated conditions. There are conditions associated with diabetes mellitus. Please treat it. Number 1 is hypertension. If your blood pressure is greater than or equals to 140 milligram over 90 millimeter mercury, please get to see your doctor. Another one is obesity. If you know your BMI is greater than or equals to 25, please reduce your weight. Exercise, go on diets, a healthy diet that is also supportive of your diabetic state, and try everything possible to get your weight reduced to the ideal size for your height. Another one is also if you have any coronary heart symptoms, you should be checking your heart, going to the doctor to run your ECG routinely to prevent coronary heart disease. Another one is also dyslipidemia. Check your cholesterol level. Is it low? Is it high? Is there any aspect of my diet I need to cut so that you don't come down with this? The last but not the least is screening or managing major complications of diabetes. Number one is retinopathy. Retinopathy has to do with the eyes. Like we talked about yesterday, diabetic patients often, when they view stuff, it looks like they are viewing they are viewing things from the view of a Hamatan morning when it's everything is hazy. If nothing happens, it can cause what you see retinopathy. So it is advised for diabetic patients to always go to the ophthalmologists often to check their view. Now, another one is neuropathy. Neuropathy has to do with your nerves. Also, you're also advised to check this complication, and you can also do right by having your blood sugar level optimal at all times. It will help you also in preventing this complication. Another one is nephropathy. Nephropathy is the kidneys. Kidney is different from neuropathy. Make sure your blood sugar is managed well so you don't come down with kidney complications. Another one also is the cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system is just your heart. Go for routine ECGs, go for routine chest x-rays, do all that so that you can curb the complication of diabetes mellitus. And with this, we are saying, we are calling on Mr. Tony for any nuggets he needs to drop for our viewers before we call it a day for this particular episode. Mr. Tony, please.
Hello. Thank you very much. Dr. Dolly and Folashade, our dietitian. Well, it's been fantastic. It's been great. It's been I've been more aware. So that's the whole point. The awareness is there. And really the audience are putting thumbs up. But there are some questions. There are some questions that I think I want to ask. Well, the audience wants to ask from some of the comments. And one of the questions says, if I take too much honey, will it increase my sugar level? Because I suppose the question is related to the fact that most of the people that take a certain type of sugar, they always recommended honey. So if they take too much honey, and what is too much honey anyway? Then will it increase our sugar level? Dr. Dolly, over to you first.
Okay. Taking too much honey, does it increase your blood sugar? No. The answer is no, because actually honey and sugar are made of two different things. Sugar is carbohydrate, while honey is not. I like our dietitian to shed more light on that so that she can tell you the very difference between sugar and honey, but definitely it can't increase your blood sugar by taking too much honey.
Yeah, so so thank you for that. Actually, Dr. Dolly, research has actually also shown that when you take too much honey, it can get to increase your blood sugar level, and so honey is also classified as added sugar, and so it's best that if you're going to take honey as a diabetic patient, you need to take it in moderation, and this is also taking us back to the point that you need to see your dietitian to help you know how much honey you can take. Remember, one of the things you can get to do to raise the blood sugar level back once you're hypo is to give a teaspoon of honey. Yes, right. So it can't when you take it in excess, and this is why it's important that you know how much you can take within your daily carbohydrate allowance, and so that way you can get to prevent it shooting your blood sugar level up.
Okay, so I suppose that's why we have two of you in the studio.
That's a very informative one.
Obviously, we debate, and from a medical point of view and from a dietitian point of view. But just as a matter of interest, for Lashade, just when we say honey, how is honey and sugar is sugar? Yeah, and this is me being naive. Honey is honey and sugar is sugar. So how is it that honey is increasing my sugar level? Shouldn't too much honey be increasing my honey level?
Mr. Tony, can you come again?
Okay, I think maybe the volume where you are is low, but I was just saying that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It looks like there's the technical problem in
No,
the studio.
it's breaking.
It's breaking.
Yes,
Okay, it's breaking.
Technical.
There's a technical stop because we can hear you, but it breaks.
Okay, I think there's technical stuff in the studio. What I was saying was, can you hear me now? Okay. What we'll do is let's move on to the next question.
Hello?
Next question quickly. Is it true that brown sugar can be taken by diabetics? Brown sugar.
Okay, brown sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it true that brown sugar can be taken by diabetic patients?
Yes. So, Doctor, Mr. Tony, Mr. Tony, I'm doing you doctor. So,
at this point,
yes.
he has gone to medical school.
Yeah. So So
You
this
stepped
is
me
it.
there.
Science has gone far now, and so there are ways you can get to add brown sugar to your diet. That was what I tried to state when I was answering the question of honey. And so if you're going to take brown sugar, we help you understand that it has to be within your carbohydrate allowance. And what it means is that a teaspoon of sugar may take a whole lot from your diet. And so for a patient who wants to take brown sugar, we help you understand, okay, is it how you're doing? So if just as an example, if a teaspoon of sugar would give you, as an example, 5 grams of carbohydrate, and maybe an apple would give you the same 5 grams. So it is now left for you as the patient, because our job is to provide you with the right information. And so you want to then choose, okay, either I go for the apple or I go for the sugar. But then if whichever option you're going for, we still ensure that it's part of your carbohydrate allowance for the day.
Okay. Thank you
So,
very
in
much.
other words,
yes, it can
diabetic patients, is it advisable for them to have brown sugar?
Yes, it can be taken, but because at this part of the world, many people sometimes cannot get to calculate their carbohydrate intake, and they don't get to see the expert that would guide them. And also for health purpose, we have other foods that can offer you more nutritional value than what the brown sugar would offer you. And so it's best, that you do the healthier options. But once in a while, for variety purpose, if you want to do, then you can do it occasionally, but not all the time.
Okay, so what are the healthier options to take that are also sweeteners that you can take in place of sugar?
Okay, so one of the things you can get to take, for example, dates is very sweet.
Beautiful.
But it's a fruit on its own. And so we can also, but as much as you can take date, it has to come in controlled portion also.
Yes.
And so we can get to calculate how much date can you take with your other meals to ensure that. So for example, you're doing the oatmeal, rather than do almonds, at times you can get to cut your dates into your oatmeal, and then it still sweetens it for you.
Beautiful.
The amount you should consume. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Tony.
Thank you. So what we want to do is just thank you very much. The information was powerful and impactful, and I think anyone that is looking to understand diabetes and be more aware of it, this is the right show for you. Your $1 Billion Body, sponsored by Salad Master. Thank you very much, Dr. Dolly and Folashade, for doing the show. And also, we're in Nigeria, Victoria Island office, and guess what? Tomorrow, like we say, is World Diabetes Day. Yeah. So tomorrow we have a special show for everybody, which is to do with cooking. We're going to see so many cooks in so many kitchens at the same time, just for Diabetes World Day. So thank you very much. And Dr. Dolly, do you want to say a few final words for you?
Oh yes, like always, what we say always at your $1 Billion Body Show is for you to always stay healthy. Your health is our priority over here.
Thank you. And Folashade?
Well, I will still continue to say that your diet is very, very important in ensuring that you protect your $1 billion body. And so you need to invest in healthy eating and also healthy cooking system that can help you preserve the nutrients that you have in your food to get the most of it. So please invest in your diet and invest in the healthy cooking system.
Thank you. So, and for me, from the London from London, I'm saying thank you very much, Nigeria. Thank you very much, Salad Master, the sponsors. Thank you very much, the Excel region, and thank you very much, Victoria Island, and a big thank you for the time that Dr. Dolly and Folashade has spent in the studio, just making you more aware of diabetes. And we shall continue with a new program tomorrow on cooks in kitchens for the Diabetes World Diabetes Day. So thank you very much. You guys have been fantastic. You've been great, and we appreciate you. I salute you, both of you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. And guys,
Bye.
remember the salad master machine. Look
Okay.
out for it. Salad master machine. Anybody, we're giving away 100 salad master machines. So guess what? See if you can get one during this Diabetes Awareness Month. Yep. So thank you very much, Dr. Dolly. Thank you very much, London, and see you soon. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye from Nigeria. Bye-bye.